Alright, so now let's see the next part, that is fetching the data from the server instead of returning some dummy object here, right? So to fetch the data from the server and to parse the JSON, I have to do something like this. So I need to use this URL code, that is I need to use a URL. This is my URL, and I'm going to create a variable with Ctrl+Alt+V. That's it. Now this URL dot open connection. So this is going to give me a connection object. So the shortcut for renaming a variable is Shift F6, that's in Windows, and connection dot connect. So once I'm connected to this endpoint here, I can use a buffered reader to read input stream. So I'll use buffered input stream, which will take connection.get input stream, right? And this buffered input stream can be read by through a reader. Buffered input stream, we have a buffered reader, and this buffered reader can give us lines. So for lines in line in buffered reader dot read lines, we can read the content line by line, but we need to save it into something called a string buffer, so that we can append it line by line. Once we are done, we want to close the reader, and we have all the data here. So we have, well, full JSON read into string buffer dot toString. So we have the full JSON here. Now let's talk about JSON parsing. How do we parse JSON? So it's pretty simple. We will see what we have here, and we will see how we can read it, right? So first we have a JSON object, so we will write, well, JSON object movies, and this is a JSON object, so we will say full JSON. We have read the first line. Now from the first line, we know that the second item that we have is a JSON array. So JSON object movies dot get JSON array. And what is the name of the JSON array? We know that it's movies. So let's put it. We have a JSON array. Now from this JSON array, we know from our JSON that there is another object. So let's find JSON array dot get JSON object, but this time we need to provide an index here, right? So the index is 0 because this is the first item, so we'll provide 0 here. JSON object, okay, let's call it JSON object movie. And now we have reached here, so we can extract all these 3 entries here one by one with the methods that we have. So first is movie name. We can get it JSON object movie dot get string. I was thinking of renaming it to be a bit shorter, but that's fine. Let's duplicate this. So the second thing is get int, because the second one is an year, and the third one is an image, right? So this will be an image. Now we can create a movie object with these 3 values, right? Movie name, year, and image. Okay, can I put these in a single line? That is again Alt Enter, put it in a single line. I mean, I like it that way. So will this work? Just one thing before we go there, that is, to hit the internet we need internet permission. Yep, that's it. So manual parsing is done, everything is done. Will it going to work? Well, it won't, because we are trying to hit something on the server, on the main thread. Now how this threading concept comes in? So just see the error, guys, once, so that you are aware when you are doing some stuff related to this one. You see an error that is network on main thread exception. Why we are running the network calls on main thread? Let's take it to the background thread, and let me switch that slide to, yep. So here is the problem. There's a slide that I missed. Android doesn't allow us to make network calls on the UI thread. Also, it doesn't allow us to change anything on the UI if you are on a background thread. So now you are stuck, right? You cannot make calls on the UI thread. You cannot change anything on the background thread. So you have to switch from one thread to another. All right. Now we will use something called coroutines in Kotlin. So let's add some coroutines here.